Catch a wave and you're sitting on top of the world.
Hi, welcome to Very Nice.
High vibes.
Liz here with my magical friend Jackie. How are you, Jackie?
I'm good. How are you? I have to say you're looking very radiant this morning, and your blues and your...
Thank you very much. I'm feeling
behind there.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you. I've got my cup of tea. I'm on the herbal echinacea today. I was saying to you earlier, I've had a little bit of a sniffle and a sore throat and could have been feeling a little bit out of the vortex, but I've slipped right back on in there and I'm feeling good. So, and you are looking radiant as well, my friend, with your love heart.
I'm red today. I seem to pick reds and oh, I haven't got it on at the minute, but
I recognise that love heart.
right here. I've took it off so it's not clanking off it. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, aren't we?
We like doing something a bit different. Exciting.
So what we've decided to do today is what kind of popped into was a little idea that popped in over the weekend. So we've talked about it before, haven't we? A little bit about doing this. And just basically we've had people come to Facebook and ask us some questions about law of attraction. And I didn't even say that they could ask things about us. I thought, oh my God.
I must say, when I saw that, I thought, oh no, we could manifest some really interesting questions, and then I just let it go. And I thought, well, we're creating this, so let that one go. It's all going to be good.
I don't think there's anything too personal on there. So what we'll do, we'll just crack in with the questions and see how it unfolds. Because we've kind of seen the questions, but not really absorbed them to any great level. And we decided to let them go and then just read them afresh this morning, and then just answer just as as naturally as possible without having any preconceived kind of ready-made answers. So that's what we're kind of doing.
But we said doing it that way, it's rather than coming from the mind and trying to analyse, because I'm a big analyser and planner, that side of me, but it's coming from the heart and the soul then. So yeah, I'm excited.
Right, so let me just go to Facebook.
Oh,
I'm like, hello,
I manifested this. My phone's ringing. Hang on a sec. Hello, we are back. Just a little manifestation of a phone call there. I knew that was going to happen as well.
You're a great man.
I thought I'll get a phone call today. I better unplug the phone. Didn't unplug the phone. So anyway, we're back, and you were just going to go into the questions, Jackie. So I'll hand back over to you.
Right. So we're at Facebook here, and very kindly, some of our lovely friends have actually posted some questions. So the first question is from Melissa. And she says, hiya, I'd love to ask, how do I intensify my positive vibes in contrasting situations? And how do I tap in and stay connected to my authentic self? Love to hear your thoughts on these questions. Shall I just read that again?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. How do I intensify my positive vibes in contrasting situations? And how do I tap in and stay connected to my authentic self? So it's kind of the same sort of question twice, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know, I've got to say, Melissa, beautiful, magical Melissa, she's actually one of my coaching clients, and we had a session yesterday and discussed a similar thing. So maybe I'll hand the baton to you to start with, Jackie, to see what you feel guided comes up. Do you get what I mean? And then, because we kind of chatted about it yesterday, and I'd love to hear your take on it as well. Yeah.
So I'll sip my coffee first. Let's see what comes here. Right, I think the first thing that's sort of coming to mind is that, so we're thinking more contrasting situations. So that's made me think that you're actually, or you're just in the situation. Something's happening and you're thinking, oh, okay, what am I doing here? Why? You think, I'm a positive thinker. Why am I sitting here? I'm trying to think of something that happened to me. Yeah, a bizarre thing. I'll tell you what it was. Shouldn't really say because I'm at long time. I'm in the car park, and this guy anyway ends up shouting at me from his car, and I end up shouting back. This is so out of character. Can you imagine me shouting at people on the street?
No, what were you shouting? Woo!
Well, he said, I walked past the car with my daughter, and he said, so this is actually a good example. We walked past, and she went, "Oh, mummy, that's like our car, isn't it?" Anyway, as I walked past, I heard this horn beep, and then he turned around. I shouldn't be asking about this, but I'm in the vortex, I'm fine. And he turned and went, "Your daughter just hit my car." And I was like, "Pardon?" Anyway, and he was like, "The CCTV cameras are on," and you can imagine how I was like, going, "Hello?"
Yeah.
You know, and I was going,
Me?
"You've accused my 3-year-old of bashing your car." And anyway, I said, "You must be mad, whatever." And I went out and I thought, because for me, that's extreme. You know, things like that don't happen. So I was just like, oh my goodness. First of all, I felt really angry at him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know.
Were you down on that emotional scale? You needed to...
I got knocked and I went, "What a bloody idiot." Do you know what I mean?
How dare he? Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. In fact, there was a bit of a text. I was going, "Did you hear that, man?" So the natural thing, and I think it was a good thing, because I wasn't in like, for a minute I probably thought, why is that person doing that? But I quickly moved into anger, and then I was just like, how? And then I started thinking, how have I manifested that? How have I manifested that? And rather than, you know, trying not to get involved in the situation, I was thinking, I started to really, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I got to a point where I was getting thankful. Oh, that's really good that's happened, because it's showing that something's happening in my vibration. So I was thinking, oh, what's that show me? What's that show me? You know? So I'm rather than being caught up in the contrasting situation, I'm just going, wow, what's that show me? What's that show me? Yeah, he's an idiot. But anyway, what's he showing me? Like, and moving up like that. And then I was like, thinking, what happened? So it was like this guy was accusing a 3-year-old of doing something. Because it's like, to me, the clues are in what's going on.
Yeah.
Unfairly accusing a 3-year-old. I mean, she wasn't oblivious, you know.
Yeah.
What's the silly man doing?
I can just imagine her. She will have been, because I've met Jazz, she will have just been like, in a world of her own, enjoying herself. Yeah.
And
in her vortex.
Yeah, so the situation was, so somebody's saying to a 3-year-old, because this is good, you can dissect what was going on in the situation, not getting involved in the emotions and who was right and wrong, just thinking what was the story. So this man shouting at a 3-year-old who hadn't done anything, blah, blah, blah. Now I started to think, that's interesting. So I'm thinking, right, old vibration, maybe it's something from my old vibration, it could be fictitious. So anyway, if it makes me feel better, it makes me feel better. Maybe in my past, as a 3-year-old, I was shouted at for doing something I didn't do. And it was just the way the universe was showing me why something comes up. And maybe there's been a little bit of talk in my head that's being very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not actually doing anything wrong day to day.
Yeah.
But yet this little voice that's saying, must be, I must be somewhere, it must be so subconscious, it's kind of picking on me or telling me, you know what I mean? And that's the manifestation that popped up.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, so am I really being that bad to myself? Am I really? And I think I'm starting to learn that I have a very quiet subconscious voice that's actually kind of saying, oh, you know, look at you know, whatever it is, if I'm tired or I'm this, I'm that, there's a little voice picking on me. So I was really, by looking at it from that perspective, I was easily able to get something fixed in the emotions of it.
Yeah.
To see how it was being helpful. Just more, the universe is projecting something. Anyway, I quite enjoyed answering that.
Yeah, it's a good example.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like your example. It's really synchronistic as well, Jackie. You see, everything always pans out how it should, because me and Melissa did chat a little bit yesterday, and we ended up saying about the whole, whatever's going off within you, you keep getting this cycle of things repeating. So like you said, it could be this little voice that's, you know, your subconscious quiet mind maybe is picking on yourself, which means that somebody else manifests by picking on you. But for me, I guess in answer to the questions about when you're in that contrastual situation, I'll use my example from today, okay? Because we chatted briefly before the call. I woke up this morning with a real sore throat, felt quite poorly. I've had this cold sore going on, and it was like, oh, I'm not actually in the vortex. I feel I've got this contrast now. And I could have gone down the emotional scale of, oh, I can't do the call today, or I don't feel too good. I mean, I'm going to a concert tonight as well. There's a lot of stuff happening.
That's a good thing to get well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm having my house valued as well this afternoon. There was loads of things to get well for, and it was just a matter of making the decision. So when you're in the contrast, you make the decision, I'm getting the goosebumps now, to either stay where you are on the emotional scale and blip along, you drop further down if you can get further down, if you're not at despair, or you raise your vibes. It's a decision, and once you make that decision yourself, like you did with the guy, then you're gonna feel better. It's about saying stop, reset, press the reset button, and get your vibes lifted up.
A quick tip that I've learned for myself is that if I feel angry, it's just to try and realise in that moment of angerness, I've reclaimed my power back. And then not to sit down at myself into victim mode.
Yeah.
Go, oh, I'm angry now. Now I can, and sometimes it naturally kind of you can raise yourself up, but know that the anger's good. Anger's better than depression about it.
Yeah, and that's why I've got my emotional scale somewhere, I reckon I've probably got one nearby here, somewhere. But anyway, I've got them printed out and dotted all over the place now, just to realise how high up the emotional scale anger is. Yeah, because sometimes when you're in it, you're in that moment of, rah, why is this happening? Or whatever's going off. You're in it and you're angry and you feel really bad, but it's actually quite high up and you're on that verge, I guess, of hopefulness and optimism. And so, yeah, it's all good. That's another one I use, Jackie, as well, and Melissa. Yeah, I know you know this. It's all good anyway. Yeah, so even the contrast, I'm going to put a bit of Lipsil on here just to ease my contrast in my cracking lip. So even though we're in the contrast, like the man with you and jazz and anything, we can then send out the rockets of desire for what we do want. So it's that, when you learn what you don't want, you in turn know what you do want. Woo! Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, and the second part was saying about tapping into your authentic self and staying there. And I think maybe as well, it's also to know that you're trying to go back to who you really are in that place of love. Mm-hmm. It's also not to worry too much if you're not sitting in that place of love, because then it's like trying to stay there. You're trying to grip on to the, those moments, and it's difficult you can't really, can you? It's like kind of a bit of a natural. You can sense we can, but then I suppose you can. This is where I can be lazy sometimes. I can let myself drift to almost contentment, and then I think we'll talk about this recently, and then you get to boredom, and then it's really, when you're content, you have to be very careful not to let yourself slip into an old vibration. The only reason you have to be careful is because if you're used to being in a lower vibration, you naturally want to gravitate. So in the contentment, it's good to keep the work up, the positive thinking, thinking about things that you want to do, because that's when it's all starting to flow. I think once you're in contentment, you've got the connection, really, hope.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, just on one last note for me, what you brought out for me there, Jackie, is once you've, I guess, this cycle that we're going round, once you've cleared up some vibes surrounding a contrastual situation, so once you've cleared it up, you may go through a similar situation in the future, but you won't slip down quite so low with it, and you'll get a real sense of, I get this anyway, a real sense of recognition that, I've been here before, like especially with my health, because I can, I've been in the past, I know, being really ill, right at the bottom of the emotional scale. So for me, a bit of a sniffle and a sore throat and a cold sore, an infection, that's absolutely fine, really. So it's like, I'm pleased that I'm dealing with this situation because it's better than previously. So it's about cleaning up. And then when you've done your work as well, if you try and slip back down to absolute in a situation, it feels more uncomfortable. Do you get that as well? Because you know that you're better than that. And it is about getting better and better. So
Catch a wave and you're sitting on top of the world.